All right, we got this midterm exam review. Let's get on it. First thing we have is solve this equation right here. Okay, so I'm going to solve this one, which means I'm going to have to subtract 5x on both sides because we've got x's on both sides and we can't do that. So when I subtract 5x, this will go away. Over here, 7x minus 5x will be 2x. I still have the plus 1, and it's going to equal negative 7. So I have that right here. 2x plus 1 equals negative 7. There's a little mistake right there. Now I'm going to have to subtract 1 on both sides, which makes this go away. Now I have 2x equals negative 8. And then I divide by 2. And x equals negative 4. Negative 4 is my answer. Right there it is. Okay. What about this one? If 3y plus 7 equals 19, find 7y. All right, so I need to figure out what y is. So I just take the 3y plus 7 equals 19. I'm going to subtract 7. It makes this go away. So I have 3y equals, what is that, 12? 19 minus 7 is 12. And now I divide by 3. And I get y equals 4. Okay, now don't pick this one. That ain't your answer. Because it says find 7y. Okay, so I need to do 7 times 4, which is 28. There's my answer right there. Okay. Coming on down. All right, a video store charges a monthly membership of $6, plus the charge to rent each movie is $1 per movie. Another store has no membership fee, but it charges $1.75 to rent each movie. How many movies need to be rented each month for the total fees to be the same from either company? All right, so what you're going to have to do here, let's just say we got store A and we got store B. What does store A charge? They charge $6 plus $1 for each movie. So we'll just let X be the movies we rent. That's what store A charges, $6 plus $1 for each movie. What does store B charge? They charge $1.75 for each movie. They don't have this $6 fee. So that's what the two charges are. So the thing is, when are they the same? When are they equal? So we just take these two right here and set them equal. So 6 plus 1x, or just 6 plus x, equals 175x. So I need to solve this, and it's like the previous problem we had a minute ago where we got x's on both sides. I need to minus x on both sides, and I'm going to have them over on the right this time, which is okay. This will go away, so 6 equals, so that's going to be 1.75 minus 1, which is 0.75x. Okay? And so now I'm going to have to divide both sides by 0.75. This will cancel off, and x equals 8. So it's going to take 8 movies until the two companies have the same fees. Okay? All right. Let's go to this one here. All right. I'm going to solve this equation. And the first thing is we got parentheses here. We're going to have to distribute. So I'm going to have to do 3 times all this inside here. So 3 times x would be 3x. And then 3 times negative 4 would be negative 12. Okay. I got like terms here. So 3x plus x would be 4x minus 12 equals 4x minus 7. And the first thing I notice is I got 4x on both sides, and that tells me right there I'm going to have a special kind of case. If I subtract 4x's on both sides, my x's just deplete entirely. Now, the question is, what's left? Well, right here I got a negative 12. Over here I got a negative 7. Are these equal? No, they're not equal, which means there's no solution on this. There's no solution at all because my x's zero out and what's left is not equal. Now, if these were equal, now suppose this right here was a negative 12 equals negative 12, then that would be this one here, all numbers. See, if your x is zero out, there's no variable involved here, it's going to be one of these two right here. You got to look at what's left. If what's left is equal, all numbers. If what's left is not equal, no solution, like this problem here. Okay. Now, I'm going to graph this one here. Okay, there's no multiple choice on this one, but I need to solve this, which means I'm going to have to add 8 to both sides to make this go away. Okay, now when I do that, I'm going to bring in another piece of paper here. Okay, when I add that 8, I'm going to have negative x over 5 greater than or equal to 12 plus 8, which is 20. Okay, now I've got a negative 5. See, there's a negative in front of this x divided by 5, but I got a negative 5. I'm dividing by this. So I need to multiply both sides by negative 5. Okay? And so when I multiply here, the negatives cancel, the 5s cancel, so I just have x. Over here I get negative 100. But what happens now, when I divide or multiply by a negative, it turns my inequality the other way. And so there's my inequality right there. X is less than or equal to negative 100. Now graphing it, here's 0, here's negative 100. I'm going to have a circle there. It's colored in because I got the equal to line, and it's less than, so it's going to be going that way. And so that's what my graph will look like. And so on the test, you just have to pick the appropriate one. But here's the key, where people are going to miss this, is right here, right there. When I multiply both sides by a negative, or if I divide both sides by a negative, it's going to flip this inequality the other way. Okay, I can show you that real quickly. If I have like a 3 is less than 8. All right, if I add something to both sides, like add 2, now we've got 5 is less than 10. It don't change it. If I multiply both sides by like 4, 4 times 5 is 20, 10 times 4 is 40. It's still less than. It doesn't change it. It's when I divide, like if I divide both sides by negative 5, I get negative 4 and I get negative 8. But now that changes it because negative 4 is greater than negative 8. So it's right here when you divide by negative, or if you multiply, like we did over here, that's going to change your inequality the other way. So don't forget this little thing right here, okay? You'll pick the wrong answer and think you got it right when you're actually wrong. Okay, now let's go to this next one. Now this one has multiple choice. Okay, so on this one now, which shows the solution set here. All right, right there we got x is less than or equal to 7. So if I look at that and then see how this says and, that tells me they're going to connect. So like this one here is wrong and this one here is wrong because they don't connect. It's going to be one of these two that they connect between these two values because the word says and. So that's one thing to know. If it says and, they'll connect like this. Now or, if it says or, that's going to make it go like one of these in opposite directions. You have one arrow going that way, one arrow going that way because it's this way or it's that way. But when it says and, they come together like B or C here. Okay? So now this is less than or equal to 7. Okay, there's less than or equal to 7 right there. See, it's colored in. And the same thing there. Oh, no, no, no. That's not colored in. So this one's wrong. It's got to be that one. Now, if you do this other one here, I would add 4. That's going to give me x greater than, and negative 9 plus 4 would be negative 5. And see, it's greater than 5 here. And see how it's not colored in? It's not supposed to be. Whereas this one here, see, it is colored in. That's wrong. It's got to be this one. You've got to pay attention to what's colored and what's not colored. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, solve this inequality. All right, so see the negative in front of here? I'm going to have to distribute that negative. So that's going to give me 7x minus 3x minus 7 greater than or equal to negative 19. Okay. Now I got like terms, which means I'm going to have 4x minus 7 greater than or equal to negative 19. when I add my like terms together. Okay, now I'm going to have to add 7 to both sides to get rid of my 7, which is going to give me 4x greater than or equal to negative 12. And now I divide by 4, and x, now I didn't divide by negative, so it stays this way, it didn't change. But this ends up negative over here, but that don't matter over there. It's when I divide by this negative, this number down here, when I divide by that one. So there you go. X is greater than or equal to negative 3, looks like B right here. Okay. All right, now on this one, find the slope. All right, now this is standard form. And when you got an equation in standard form, here's how you find the slope. It's the opposite of this, which means it's going to be negative, and it's this coefficient over that coefficient, 3 over 7. So it should be negative 3 over 7 right there. That's the slope. Now, what most teachers tell you to do on this, okay, suppose we have our equation here, like so. We want to get y solved for, so I would minus 3x, which makes this go away. So I have 7y equals, and I put the negative 3x first. And then I divide by 7 both sides to get y by itself. Okay? And so that means I'm going to have negative 3 over 7 times x plus, then I have 12 over 7. And that would be the equation. Of course, right there is the slope, which we already figured out. But when you have standard form, it's just the opposite of that sign right there. It's the opposite of this, and it's 3 over 7. Now, if I had one like this, okay, suppose I had this one here. What's the slope here? All right, it's going to be positive. Since that's negative, it's going to be positive 5 over 2. 5 over 2. That's the slope. All right, so that's a quick way to do that one. All right, on this one now. Okay. Given the following 2 points, find the slope. All right, slope. Here's the slope formula. Y from point 2 minus y from point 1 over x from point 2 minus x from point 1. That's how you find the slope. So in this problem, the y in point 2 is 3. See, there's my 3. Since this is first, we'll call that one point 1. We'll call that one point 2. And the y is 3 in point 2 minus the y in point 1, which is 1. That's on top. On the bottom, the x in point 2 is 5 minus the x in point 1 is 8. So I'm going to have 3 minus 1, which is 2. And then 5 minus 8 is negative 3. So negative 2/3 right there. There's my equation, my slope. Okay, now, when you have undefined, that's when you do this right here and you end up with 0 on the bottom. Like suppose you have 5 over 0, this would be undefined. Now m equals 0 is when you have like 0 on the top. Like suppose you have 0 over 5. So make sure you understand these two right here. Undefined is when 0 is on the bottom. Slope is 0 is when 0 is on the top. Okay? All right. All right, the equation of the given line with the slope being 1/2. Okay, let me get it on the screen here. And you got this point 4, 11. Okay, find the equation of the line. All right, so we know since the slope is 1/2, it's going to be y equals 1/2 x. 1/2 times x, since the slope is 1/2. But now the y-intercept, I don't know that one, so that's b. b is the y-intercept. I need to figure out what the y-intercept is. So I automatically know my answer is going to be one of these two right here, because that's where the 1/2 is. See, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. So those are out. So no, it's got to be one of these two right here, because the slope is 1/2. Now, how do I figure out if it's going to be a 9 or a negative 9? Well, I got to take my point here, and I got to put that in. So I put 4 right here where x is, and I put 11 right there where y is. And it looks like that. And so then I do 1/2 times 4, which is 2. So 11 equals 2 plus b. And then we'll have to minus 2, which means I've got 9 is b. So it's going to be a positive 9. So the answer is b right there. not this one. The answer is B. Okay, so that's how you do that. What about this one? Write the equation line given in this graph. Okay. All right, so I know it's going to be y equals the slope times the x. So I got to figure out the slope here, and I got to figure out points that this line goes through. So it goes through this point right here, looks like, on the corner of the grid. And then if I travel down through here, the next corner of the grid that it hits, it looks like it's right there. What I mean is it's got to go through these corners, see, the grids, where these coordinate planes lines intersect, the corners of these grids. And so like these are, it goes through this one and this one. You see it, it's close. Let me see. It's close to that one, but see, it don't go through that one. And it's not really close there. See, it's close to this one, but it goes through that one. So these are the 2 points it goes through. And I have to use those for the slope. So see, I go left to right. So I start at the left, and see, I have to go down. I've got to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to go down 5. Okay, and then I got to go over 4. So I go down 5 and I go over 4. That's my slope right there. Okay. Now, my y-intercept is 5. So that'd be plus 5, because see, it goes to the y-intercept right there. And so there'd be my answer. I just put that negative in there a minute ago because I noticed that the answers were wrong. But there's my answer right there. Y equals negative 5/4 x plus 5. Okay. All right. What about this one? We got this little system here. X equals this. 2x plus 5y equals 3. What's the value of y? What I need to do is, since x equals this right here, I'm going to take that and put it for x down there. So here's how it looks. I've got 2x plus 5y equals 3. See, I got 2x plus 5y equals 3. 2x plus 5y equals 3. And right there where x is, I'm going to put this 3y minus 4. All right, so right here, 3y minus 4 is going to come in. And my 3 there, the pen kind of buckled on me. So there's what we do. I'm going to put x equals this. I'm going to put that in for x in the other one. So now I have to distribute. So this is nothing different than what we've done earlier. 2 times 3y would be 6y. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Plus 5y equals 3. And then 6y plus 5y is 11y minus 8 equals 3. Then I'm going to have to add 8 to both sides, which means 11y equals, what, 8 plus 3 is 11. And then I divide by 11 and I get 1. Y equals 1, and there's your answer right there. Y would have to be 1. Okay. All right. So here's a problem. The local pet store, zebra fish cost $2.10 each, and neon tetras cost $1.85 each. If Marsha bought 13 fish for a total cost of $26.05, not including tax, how many of each type of fish did she buy? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Z be the zebras. I'm going to let N be my neons. I've got these two variables I need to solve. And there should be 2 equations I make up here. Okay? So the first is she bought 13 fish. So however many zebras plus however many neons, that's going to equal 13. Okay? Now, second equation, the neons, or the zebras are $2.10. So $2.10 times however many zebras she buys, plus the neons, well, they're $1.85. Okay, and then altogether that should equal $26.05. Okay, now here's a quickie way to do this. You've got these 2 equations. First, now Z plus N has to equal 13. So like 5 plus 8 is 13. 7 plus 6 is 13. 8 plus 5 is 13. 6 plus 7 is 13. 7 plus 5 is 13. No, that's 12. So this one's out. Okay? So all these add up to 13. So all those are possibilities. All right? Now all I can do is I put 5 in for Z and put 8 in for N down here and see if I get 2605. So here's my calculator. Okay? All right, so I'm going to do 2.10 times 5 plus 1.85 times 8. And look, I got 2530. See, I didn't get the right answer there, so this one's out. That one's not right. All right, so now I'm going to put 7 in for Z and put 6 in for N. All right, so I've already got this on there, so I'm just going to go over here and type a 7 and type a 6. 2580. Nope, that didn't work. It's not that one. All right, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to type 210 times 8 and $1.85 times 5. 2605. There it is. This is my answer right here, C. Okay, C is my answer. That's the one that worked. Okay, let's go to this next one here. Simplify this. All right, I've got 4 h to the 6th power, k to the 4th power, all to the 2nd power. Which means I've got this right here. I've got 4 to the 2nd power. I've got h to the 6 to the 2nd power. I've got k to the 4 to the 2nd power. Okay. Now 4 to the 2nd power is 16, so I know these two are out. H to the 6th to the 2nd power. Now these two here, when I have a power of a power, I multiply those. So it's going to be h to the 12. And right here, power of a power, multiply those, that's going to be k to the 4 times 2 is 8. That should be my answer right there. Which looks like here, B. Okay. What about this one? Simplify this. Okay. Now we're dividing, and when we're dividing like this, I have to subtract my exponents. Like right there, 6 minus 3 would be 3, so it's going to be M3. And then right here, I've subtract those. Well, 2 minus 6 is negative 4. So it's going to be M3 and n to the negative 4. See, 2 minus 6 is negative 4. I do the top minus the bottom. 6 minus 3 is 3. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. But we don't want negative exponents, which means that's going to move it to the bottom. So I should have n to the positive 4 on the bottom. And it looks like my answer right there. Okay. Well, what do we got here? Okay. We're going to simplify this radical, negative 80. All right, well, first thing, since that's negative, that negative sends out an I. Okay, so since we have a negative inside the radical, that sends out an I because this is imaginary. And now I break down my 80, so it's going to be 2 times 40. 40 is 2 times 20. 20 is 2 times 10. I'm circling these 2's because they won't break down. 10 is going to be 2 times 5. And then 5 won't break down, so I circle it. So there's all my circled numbers, which are prime because they don't break down anymore. Now pairs pull out. So like here's a pair of 2's. That's going to send a 2 out of the radical. Here's another pair of 2's. That sends out another 2. But see this 5 right here? He's stuck because he doesn't have a partner to pair up with. So he has to stay in the radical. So these 2's come out. 2 times 2 be 4. But that 5 is stuck. It's going to be a 4 radical 5 is what that simplifies to. But I got the I there. So it's going to be 4i radical 5 right there. Okay. So because it's negative inside there, that sends an I out. When I break down my 80, I get 4 radical 5 for that. So you can't forget the I. So it's going to be 4i radical 5. Okay. Now this one here, I to the 17 power. All right, now there's 4 possibilities here when you have I to a power. Okay, and it just rotates through these 4. So what I do is I take that 17, I divide by 4. When I do that, I get 4.25. Okay, Now look at this. Now how many quarters is that? If you look at like cents, a quarter, 0.25 is 1/4. So this would be I to the 1, which is just I. So my answer is I here. Now another one here. Suppose you had I to the 39. All right, so I take 39 divided by 4. Okay. So 39 divided by 4 would be 9.75. All right, now look and see how many quarters that would be. That's 3/4. So that's I to the 3, which is negative I. Okay. Now, let's do this. I to the 1 is I squared is negative 1. I to the 3rd power is negative I to the 4th power is positive 1. So these are all 4 of them right there. Oops. Okay. What about this one here? Simplify radical 600. All right, radical 600. I just break it down like we did on the previous problem. 2 times 300, circle the 2. 2 times 150. 150 is 2 times 75. 75, now I can't do 2 anymore, so I got to do some other number. I think 3 times 25 is what that is. And 25 is 5 times 5. And there you go, it's all completely broke down. Now look at just the circled ones. Okay, now just like we did a while ago, these twos pair up. It sends a 2 out. This 2's stuck, he doesn't have a partner. This 3 is stuck, he doesn't have a partner. But look here, here's 2 5s, that sends a 5 out. So 2 times 5 comes out, that's a 10. But these 2 are stuck, so 2 times 3 would be 6 stuck in the radical, and 10 radical 6 right there. Okay. All right, now we got some imaginary numbers. We're going to add these. All right, so when I add, just add my real parts. -2 plus -7 is -9. And then my imaginary parts, 5i plus -3i would be a 2i. So there you go. That was easy, wasn't it? Now, here's where you got to watch, is when you subtract. And I guarantee you this subtract one is going to be on this test. When you subtract, you got to distribute that negative through this second term, which means you have 2 minus 3i here. You don't touch it. But that means you're going to add, and this is going to be a -5, and that turns that into a -7i. So you're going to add those. Adding is tons easier. You don't want to do subtraction because you're going to make a mistake more than likely. So now I add just like the previous problem. So 2 plus -5 is -3. Then when I add the imaginary parts, -3i plus -7i is -10i. So right there is my answer, E. Okay. What about this next one here? Okay, we're multiplying them. All right, when you multiply, build you a box. Okay, I've got 8 plus 6i on top of the box. Okay, and then I have 3 minus 4i on the side of the box. All right, so I just multiply these up. So 3 times 8 would be 24. 3 times 6i is 18i. 8 times -4i is -32i. And right here in this one, I'm always going to end up with I squared. So here, -4 times 6 is -24, and I got an I squared. But see, I squared, as we talked about a second ago, is -1. So that makes that a 24 right there in that square. Okay, which means I got 24 plus 24, which is 48. And then right there, 18 plus -32 is -14i. And right there, there's my answer. Okay. Now, what about dividing? Okay, let me see this. I got this taped on there. I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to divide. So when you divide, 6 divided by 3 minus 2i, I need to do the conjugate of this, 3 plus 2i. And I multiply that to the top and the bottom. I want to do the top. I just distribute 6 times 3 would be 18. And then 6 times 2i would be 12i. So there's the top. When I do the bottom, well, I need to do this box. 3 minus 2i, 3 plus 2i. All right, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 2i is negative 6i. 3 times 2i is positive 6i, and see, those cancel. And then right here in this box, negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, and it's I squared, which I squared is negative 1, so that's a positive 4. And 9 plus 4 is 13. See there, 9 plus 4. Those cancel. And so I split it up. So it's going to be 18 over 13 plus 12 over 13 with the I. And that'll be my answer right there. Okay. All right, what about this one? Identify the vertex and the y-intercept of the graph of the function. All right, the y-intercept is easy. If I put the y-intercept is when x equals 0. That's what the y-intercept is. So if I put 0 in there, 0 squared is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, that'll go away. 8 times 0 is 0, and right there, negative 3. So see, I know it's got to be one of these two right here. So this is out, this is out, this is out. It's got to be one of those two. Okay? All I got to do is find the vertex and see which one of these is the correct vertex. All right, so now to do that, negative b over 2a is what x is. All right, so in this one, negative b over 2a, my b is 8. I've marked it out up here, but my b was 8. And my a is a 2. So it gives me a negative 8 divided by 2 times 2, which is 4, and then that's a negative 2. All right, this is my axis of symmetry. X equals negative 2. So now all I do is I put negative 2 in for x. So you just type that on the calculator. I've got 2, and in parentheses, negative 2 squared. Okay. Then I got plus 8, and in parentheses, negative 2. And then I have minus 3. Okay, so I type it on there, and look at there, I get negative 11 when I type it in. It's the shadow of this light's not letting the calculator show up very good. But I just put 2 in for x. I got negative 11, and look here. There it is right there. D. It's not this one. Okay. Now, when it's in vertex form like this, that's pretty easy. Identify the vertex and the y-intercept. So my vertex, all right, look here now, it's going to be the opposite of this. So it's going to be positive 2, and it's going to be this number here, 9. 2, 9 is my vertex. Okay, so look here, this is out, out, out. It's got to be one of these two right there. See, those two have 2, 9. So on this one, I got to find the y-intercept. All right, well, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. That's what the y-intercept is. So I put 0 in for x. So I can just type this in, negative 0 minus 2 squared plus 9. Just type that in the calculator, just like that. And when I do, I get 5. Right there, 5. There's my answer, D. Okay, so again, just type this in the calculator, put 0 in for x, and that gives you your y-intercept. Okay, here it says find the axis of symmetry. All right, we just did that. Negative b over 2a. This is the axis of symmetry. So on this one, negative b over 2a, there's my b right there, negative 12, and there's my a right there, 2. So 2 negatives makes a positive 12. 2 times 2 is 4. So I got 12 divided by 4, which is 3. X equals 3. Right there. That's my axis of symmetry. Okay. All right. What have we got here? Use the vertex form to write the equation of this parabola. All right, here's my vertex right there, which is negative 2, negative 3. That's my vertex. All right, which means now I should have x plus 2. Remember, we just did this a second ago. It's going to be the opposite of that. And then I'm going to have minus 3 here. That's what I should have. So, right here. That's my answer. Okay. What about this one? Solve this. All right, we're going to do the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's my quadratic formula. So I'm going to put these numbers in it. So x is going to equal negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. I like to write it all out like this first and then put my numbers in. So my a, see, is 2. That goes here and here. My b is 1. There's no number there, so that's a 1. And then my c is negative 10. All right, so there you go. Put all the numbers in. All right, well, there's 3 things to do at one time here. I've got this, this, and this. So right here, I've got a negative 1. Down here, 2 times 2 is 4. Then plus minus. In my radical, I do this underneath here. I like to do this in 2 steps, this part right here in 2 steps. So when I punch this in, I'm going to get 81 when I punch this in. So the square root of 81 is 9. So x equals negative 1 plus or minus 9 divided by 4. All right, negative 1 plus 9 is 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. There's one answer. Negative 1 minus 9 is negative 10 divided by 4. And that simplifies negative 5 over 2. And there's my other answer. Okay. So I got 2 and negative 5 halves. 2 negative 5 halves. Right there. B. Okay. This one here, well, we kind of just did one like this a minute ago. Identify the vertex and the axis symmetry. Here's my vertex right there, which is 3, 1. There's my vertex. So 3, 1, you see there? It's one of these two. Now what's the axis symmetry? Right there. X equals 3. So here it is right there, D. Answer is D. Oh. I don't think I had it on there very good. There you go. The answer is D. Okay. All right, on this one here, identify the equation of the parabola. Okay. Well, let's see here. What we can do here is find the axis symmetry, which is negative 2. So negative b over 2a. So let's see here on this first one here. Negative b over 2a. My b is 4, and my a is negative 1. So this is going to be negative 4 over negative 2, which is 2. My axis symmetry here is 2. And look here, my axis symmetry in the graph is negative 2. So this one's wrong. Now I think this one here might work out here. Because if I do that, negative b over 2a, my b is negative 4 and my a is negative 1, so it's going to be a positive 4 over negative 2, which is negative 2. So this one could be right here. This one I'm going to see here. No, it could be right. Let's see here. Negative b over 2a. So that's negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So this one could be right. And on this one, negative b over 2 times a. So all 3 of these have the same axis symmetry. Okay, so all 3 of those. This first one didn't. But these 3 do. Oops, let me get it on the screen a little bit. So all 3 of these have the exact axis symmetry. But they don't have the same vertex. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take negative 2 and I'm going to put it in. Okay, so if I put negative 2 in this one, just use your calculator. All right, so I'm going to use my calculator here and type it in. Let's see here. I can't get it on the screen. Here, let's just move it up some. All right. So right here, I got this negative in front. Now don't mess up. Negative, and then I got in parentheses negative 2 squared minus 4 times, and then in parentheses negative 2 again. Or what did I get there? 4. Look here. That's at 4. That's it. It's this one. It sure is. That's it. Now what I probably could have done, what might have been a little easier, is if I looked at my y-intercept. See, my y-intercept is 0. And so if I put, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So when I put x equals 0 in, I should get y equals 0. It's like right here, 0, 0, I get negative 3. See, that's not it. 0, 0, I get positive 3. That's not it. That tells me it has to be one of those two. So that might have been easier if I'd done that first. Okay, on this one here, we're going to solve this. Now, one thing, when we solve this, when it's squared, it's got to equal 0. So I need to minus 24 on both sides first, which means I'm going to have x squared minus 5x minus 24 equals 0. And now I can do the quadratic formula again. X equals negative b plus or minus a square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so my a is 1. It goes here and here. My b is negative 5. Negative 5 in there, negative 5 in there. And my c is negative 24. It goes there. Okay, so just like we did a while ago, there's 1, 2, 3 things to do. Okay, which means I got x equals negative 5 is a positive 5. Down here, 2 times 1 is 2. And in my radical, I got 25 plus 96, which is, what is that, 121? And the square root of 121 is 11. So this is going to be 5 plus or minus 11 divided by 2. 5 plus 11 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 5 minus 11 is negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And that should be my two answers right there. 8 and negative 3. 8, negative 3 right there. Okay. Now one thing you could have done is you could have just went through here and you could have plugged 3 in, you could plug 8 in, and you could plug it in and see which ones work. You could have done that. Okay. What about this function right here? Does it have a minimum value or a maximum value, and what is the value? Okay, here's the key to it right there. See my x squared? See my x squared? See how it's positive? Since it's positive, it's going to be concave up, which means my vertex is a minimum value. So it's not one of these two. No, it's got to be one of these minimum value ones. Now, how do you find the minimum value? You got to find the vertex. Okay, so let me get a piece of paper here to do that. Okay. All right, here's a piece. All right, so I'm going to have to find the axis of symmetry first. X equals negative b over 2a, which in this problem, negative b over 2a, okay, my b is 2, and my a is 1. So it's going to be negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. There's my axis of symmetry, negative 1, which is the x in the vertex. Now I plug that in. Okay, so I find the axis of symmetry, which is my x value of the vertex. Now I plug it in. So I'm bringing my calculator in here, okay? So I'm going to put negative 1 in there. So I've got in parentheses, negative 1, parentheses, squared. So I'm putting it in here, plus 2. And in parentheses, I got a negative 1 again, and then plus 11. 10. I got 10. So there's my vertex right there. Negative 1, 10, which means 10 is my minimum value. So the answer is A. Okay. We're chugging along here. All right, we got this toy rocket problem. It gives us the equation right there. It says how many seconds until the rocket is 100 feet. Okay. All right, so that means I need to put 100 right here for the h of t. So I got negative 16t squared plus 160t plus 8. And I want to figure out what t is to equal 100. Well, it's got to equal 0 since it's t squared. I need a minus 100 on both sides. Which means I get 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 160t, and then 8 minus 100 be negative 92. And so I'm going to use these numbers in the quadratic formula. Okay, so here you go. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, my a is negative 16, so it goes here and here. My b is 160, so it goes there and there. And my c is negative 92. Okay. All right, so just like we've done twice already in this, we've got 3 things to do at one time. Okay, so x is going to equal, and I got negative 160 right there. Down here I got negative 32. All right, now this time, since all these are decimal answers there, I'm going to go ahead and punch this in the calculator. So I've got in parentheses 160, okay, squared minus 4, and then in parentheses you got negative 16, and then in parentheses you got negative 92. And I get this right here. So I'm going to write it to the side here. This is a square root 19712. And so I do the square root of that answer, and I get this. Okay. Now, I've got 2 answers in this, so I need to punch it in the calculator. So I'm going to punch this first one in, negative 160 plus that. All right. So I've got negative 160 plus 140.399. All right. Negative 160 plus that. Okay. Now I got to divide by negative 32. So divide by negative 32, and look at my answer there, 0.30. Okay, I'm not getting the answer up here. Okay, let me type the other one. Negative 160 minus 140.399 equals, and then divide by negative 32. I got 9.38. That one's on there. All right, let me punch this again. Maybe I made a mistake. So let me type it in. Negative 160 plus 140.399 equals, and then divide by negative 32. Okay, I'm punching something wrong. I got this light here, and I can't see what I'm typing, so I'm just doing this blindly. Here, let me type it over here on the side. Negative 160, so I can see it here, plus 140.399, and then divide by negative 32. Okay, here it is. 0.61. I typed it correctly because I could see it this time, and there's the answer right there. So there's 2 answers on this. There's 2 answers. Why is there 2 answers? Well, here's why. See, this rocket is being launched from this platform. Here's the rocket right here. You know, it's on this little platform. It's going to go up. It's going to come back down and hit the ground. Now the question is, when is this thing 100 feet? Well, here's 100 feet right here. So it's going to hit it right there at 0.61 seconds. And it's going to keep going, but then it's going to start coming down. It's going to hit 100 feet right there again at 9.38 seconds. And that's why there's 2 answers. Okay. All right, now, down here. All right, which relation is a function? Which one's a function? All right, you got these points plotted. And so what you got to do is, you got to do this vertical line test. The vertical line test. If you can draw a vertical line and touch 2 points, it's not a function. So if I look at this one here, if I draw a vertical line there, I only hit that one. If I draw a vertical line here, draw a vertical line there, draw a vertical line there, draw a vertical line there, this one's a function. This one is. Because every vertical line I draw, I will only hit 1 point. Now this one here, I can tell right off it's not, because see right there, if I draw a vertical line, I hit both of those. That's not. Okay. What about this? All right. This is a function that says that's not a function. Okay. Why? Well, this one here, see, each number only see it one time for the x. This is my x, which is my independent variable. Here's my y over there, the dependent variable. I don't have any repeats here, so that's okay. Now, I've got repeats here. That's okay. But there's no repeats here. On this one, look there. I got repeats right there. And see, they got different numbers after them. This makes it not a function because I have two y values with one x value. It's the same thing I have going on here. See, at this x value of -2, there's two y values. I got 3 and -2. There's two y values there, so that shows it's not a function. Okay. Which relation is a function here? Okay, so we're looking at x values right here. I can see right off on this one, I've got 4 in there twice with two different y values. That one's not a function. What about this one? I think this one's good. Looking at this one, it's okay. I think that's my answer. Let's look at the next one, though. Yeah, look here. 1. That's not a function. What about this last? Yep, right here, 3. 3's in there twice. That's not a function. Here's my function right there. Okay. What about this one? Find the domain and range of part 1. Here's part 1 right here. We're not looking at this one. We're looking at part 1 right here. So my domain, remember that's my x's. Okay. I think I've told you this before. Went to the doctor and got an x-ray. Okay. Domain is my x's, range is my y's. So in this problem here, domain is left and right. So this thing goes from the x value of -2 to the x value of +2. So it goes from -2 to 2. Now on the -2, see how it's colored in? That's going to give me a bracket. See on the +2, it's not colored in, so it's a parenthesis. And there's my domain. Now the range is up and down. That's my y's. All right, this goes down to -3, and it goes up to +5. Now at -3, it's colored in, so I'm going to have a bracket there. But up here at +5, it's not colored in, so that gives me a parenthesis. And there's my domain and my range. Okay. I didn't ask for this one, but my domain on that one, look here, it goes from 2 to 5. And they're both colored in. My range on that one, look, it goes from 1 up to 4. And they're both colored in. Okay, so that was just, well, I didn't want to even on the screen. Okay, what about this one? What's the domain and range here? All right, so it starts here. All right, so for my domain, it starts at 1, and it's included, and it goes this way forever, so it's infinity. What about my range? All right, the range, it starts right there at 2, and it's colored in, so I include it with the bracket. And then what does it go up to? Well, as this thing's going up, it keeps going forever, so it goes to infinity. So there's my domain and my range. Okay. What about this one? Find the domain and range of this one. All right, this is a parabola. So let me write it down here, every parabola, the domain is always -infinity to +infinity because it goes this way forever and it goes that way forever. Because see, as this thing's going down, like the picture shows, as it goes down, it's going to the left. And as it goes down on this side, it goes to the right forever. So my domain, all right, it's not this one. It's got to be one of these 3 here. We're not going to be able to answer the phone. Sorry about the phone. All right, now my range is up and down. Now if you notice, it goes down forever. So -infinity is the lowest it goes. The highest it goes is right there at 1, and it's included, so I put a bracket. So Well, we had a mistake here. That should have been a bracket there for my answer there. Made a little mistake on making the answer. All right, right here, determine the inverse. Okay, there's 4 steps. First, I change that to y. Then I swap x and y. Okay, so this is step 1. This is step 2. Now step 3, I solve for y. All right, so when I solve for y, here's my y. I need to add 2, which gives me x plus 2 equals 5y. And then I'm divided by 5. And so y equals x plus 2 all divided by 5. Okay, now I use then step 4. I change y to f inverse of x. So there's my answer right there. Okay. On this one, determine if these are inverses of each other. All right. So what you have to do there, you have to do f of g of x. So which means I'm going to put g of x in the f of x. So I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to put it in that one there. So it looks like this. Here's this one, 5 over 2 times x plus 10. 5 over 2 times x plus 10. I'm going to put that in place of the x. Oops. Okay. Now I should get x. I should just get x, and if it is, they're inverses. But if I don't get x, they're not inverses. So I'm going to distribute here. So just use your calculator. 5 over 2 times 2 over 5. That's just 1x. So this looks good so far. Now 5 over 2 times negative 4. That's going to be negative 20 over 2, which is negative 10. And then I have a plus 10. And look here. These two cancel. So it's just x. So yes, these are inverses of each other. They are. Now if I don't get x, they're not inverses. All right, so good deal there. Good deal, inverses. All right, what about here? Suppose f of x is this and g of x is that. Find the value of f of 8 over g of negative 2. So I'm going to put f of 8 is going to be 3 times 8 minus 7. All right, 3 times 8 is 24. 24 minus 7 is 17. So there's what f of 8 is. So f of 8 is on top. Okay, now I got to do g of negative 2. Here's my g function. So g of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 times negative 2 plus 9. Okay, so just punch this in your calculator. It's going to be 13. So it's 17 over 13. Which now 13 goes into 17 one time with 4 left over. So it'd be this as a mixed number. Okay. What about this one? Find the value of f of negative 3 and g of negative 2 if f of x is this and g of x is that. All right, so f of negative 3, I'm going to put negative 3 in here, which is going to give me 10. All right. 12 minus 2 is 10. Huh? I made my answers wrong here, so it's got to be one of these two right here. Let's just take these negatives off, okay? So it's got to be one of those two. We had a mistake here on typing it up. Now let's do g of negative 2. So I'm going to put negative 2 in this one. So I got 3 times negative 2 squared minus 18 times negative 2. So I'm going to type this in the calculator. All right, so when I type it in, I'm going to get 48. All right, so I get 48. So this is all screwed up. I get 10 and 48. So it won't be like this on the test. I made this up for the review here, and I got in a hurry and screwed up. But the answer should be 10 and 48. I think I meant to change these 18s here to 10s. I don't know, but anyways, we'll go on. Okay. Find g of f of x. All right, g plus f of x. That's going to be g of x plus f of x is what this is. G of x plus f of x. So g of x plus f of x. I'm going to add those together. All right, so add like terms, I just have x squared. I've got a plus 4x, and then I got 7 plus 9, 16. There you go. There's my answer. Okay, we're almost done, guys. Almost done. Right here on this one. Put these dots on here so I could see them good with the light, man. The light's killer. But it makes it work good. All right, find g times f of x. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to show you here because I skipped a subtraction one. But now suppose this said g minus f of x back on this previous problem. So g of x minus f of x. So suppose we had a minus there. I'm going to do it here. X squared plus 7 minus 4x plus 9. Just suppose it had a minus. I would distribute that minus like a previous problem we've done and change it to add. So this would turn into negative 4x and a negative 9. Okay? And then I would add my like terms. So it's going to have x squared minus 4x, and then it'd give me negative 2. So there's what I get if I subtracted them. Which it had that answer right there. See, if you accidentally subtracted them instead of adding them, that answer's on there. So you got to be careful about that. But that's what you do if there's subtraction. You don't want to do subtraction. Now in this one, we're doing multiplying. We're doing g times f of x, which is g of x times f of x. So we're going to multiply these two. All right, so just build you a box. The first one on top, 3x minus 8. The second one on the side. All right, so right here, 3x times x is 3x squared. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. 3x times 4 is 12x. And then right here, negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. These two go together. So I should have 3x squared. 12 plus negative 8 would be a plus 4x, and then minus 32. And there should be my answer. And right here, the last one. Okay, right here on this one, f of x and g of x, find f divided by g of x, which is f of x divided by g of x. So I'm going to put the f of x on top. I'm going to put the g of x on the bottom. And then there's nothing I can do. I can't divide that. It's not possible as far as, because I got two things here, I got two things there, so I can't really do anything. That's simple. And then here we are, the last one, man, the one we've been waiting on, right here. The last one. Okay, doing g of f of x. So I got to do the g function of the f function. So here's my g function, 3x plus 6. See, the f function goes in the g function. So right there for x, 2x minus 8. And so now distribute. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24 plus 6. And then negative 24 plus 6 is negative 18. So that should be it right there, A. Okay. And I think that's it, man. So that's our midterm exam review. If you have any questions, just feel free to give me a contact, all right? And you guys have a good rest of the day.